is we talked about sort of above the line, below the line, and then we shifted into like online and offline. And now we're sort of talking about the POEM strategy or the paid, owned, and earned strategies across all media. But the one thing that we lose or don't talk about in a lot of this is sort of mindset. So in mindset, what is the mindset of a user? And mindset sometimes plays into intent data. So what is the intent of a particular user? And a lot of technology companies haven't figured out how to play with intent yet. Or what is intent? So John, do you mind talking about and extrapolating all about intent?
Sure, in 140 characters?
You can use 500.
500? So intent, so everyone goes online with a goal in mind, right? You don't just kind of sit up in the morning, open up your browser to Google and say, oh, what am I going to search for? And you know, the web is a very dynamic medium in that way, right? We go from link to link, from page to page. You know, search is really kind of sandwiched in the middle of the intent layer, right? Intent comes to search from other channels. I mean, they're the beneficiary. If you look at Google Trends every night, look at all the TV intent that's driven, right? Intent driven from TV into search that Google captures and monetizes. And then people go from there off into other sites with their intent even further along, right? So it actually becomes more valuable in many respects once it leaves Google and also more actionable. So, you know, so there's a huge opportunity there to capture it. And that's what, you know, I don't want to, you know, talk to your question, but, you know, that's what our technology does. You're looking at things like, you're looking at the keywords people use, you're looking at the page content, the metadata from the page itself, you're looking at clickstream data. You know, I love this idea of selling sessions instead of impressions, right? Everything's so impression-based. What's really valuable is what happens within that session, right? And thinking about people rather than pages, right? These are the kind of fundamental shifts I think that are occurring and that we can capitalize with all our technologies, because in the end, what we're doing and what you guys are all talking about, what we're all talking about is kind of weaving it into the underlying experience, right? And that's why search works so well compared to display for performance advertisers, because actually everyone's working together to optimize the experience.
Right. So if I can interject there too, I mean, that kind of brings up really interesting from our perspective too, in the sense, you know, you said people come online with an intent, with a goal. Social, I feel like, is created as to be the exact opposite of that, in the sense that you come to social not knowing what you want. It's about this idea called discovery. So the really interesting thing now, from our perspective, and maybe something that, you know, you have a perspective on too, is how do you take that intent idea and move it into the discovery phase, right? And the one thing that I would venture to say is the possible solution is, you know, you have targeting based on geographic data, right? You have targeting based on interest data, keywords, whatever it is, demographic data. But what we don't have is psychology targeting on the discovery side, right? I mean, there's a very specific thing that you do when you go to Facebook. You know, there's a different psychology when you go to Reddit or Dig, for example, right? Those types of psychologies can maybe be encompassed into intent to figure out, you know, how you kind of go down the search funnel.
Can I just answer that real quick?
Yeah.
So you're 100% right. There's basically two ways people search. It's recovery or discovery. And that goes back 10 years to work that Amazon did and you know, in terms of understanding searcher behavior. So, but it's not just search, right? Search is one of the best applications of the web, but that's just the way we go about our lives on the web. It's recovery and discovery. So there's 100% place for that. The intent may be different, but those are the two modes that we're always in online.